Gentlemen, we won 20-9. We had some great moments, some moments, but it was a win is a win, as they say. And Travion Ware is just in time to join us for the post-game analysis for Alabama LSU. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing good, doing good. Always doing good after a win. However, Alabama can get them. Always doing good, but definitely ready to dive in and discuss what we saw tonight because there's definitely a lot to discuss. So ready to dive into that as soon as possible.
Well, gentlemen, we had a low scoring first half, and that was something I noticed. It was just not good, not bad, but we were in the lead at least. I mean, like the
Yeah,
kicking game, I'm concerned about it, but what did y'all think? We'll start with you, Trevion, and we will go to Jeffrey.
man, what did I think? Seeing Alabama. First and foremost, it just continues. It starts with the offensive end for me. They continue to have some of these slow starts, and of course they're getting the wins, but it's kind of glaring because as we get deeper and deeper into the season, those slow starts will affect this Alabama football team, especially when you get against those high-powered offenses that can score via the run game and in the pass game. So Alabama getting off to that slow start, that definitely was something that I've had my eye on for the past several games, and I was hoping to see improvement in that area tonight, but just didn't get that improvement that I wanted to see. So that was definitely a red flag for me. Like I said, you can never harp on the team too bad when they come out and get the victory, but still the same. That's still area of emphasis that I think that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb and Todd Simpson and just the entire Alabama offense they have to pull them selves to the side tonight and really just look at how they performed, how they executed because they left a lot of money on the table and that's kind of continuing to turn into a growing theme with this Alabama offense over the past several games. So that was definitely my biggest takeaway, just lack of execution on the offense coming out the gates.
We'll go to you, Jeffrey.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like a broken record at this point, but Alabama's running game is a problem. We're not running the ball at all. I mean, you look at the stats. You've got Daniel Hill, 7 carries, 21 yards, touchdown. Jam Miller, our star feature back, 8 carries for 13 yards. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Riley's not factored in. We try to mix in with Bernard every now and then. We, obviously this season have done, the hilarious with Caden Proctor a couple times. But overall, whatever we're doing in the run game is not working. It's just not working. And I understand people will say the offensive line. And yeah, the offensive line could be better. But something's just wrong with our run game. I don't know. We're not running the ball well. And if you want to be a championship team, which I understand that's, not what we're discussing here. This is the post game for this game. But we know what Alabama's goals are every year: to win a national championship, to win an SEC title. It's the same every year. That's not going to get it done when you're averaging 2.6 yards a rush. And we had 59 total yards in the game. We basically abandoned the run game altogether. We just completely abandoned it and against an LSU defense that's not great. They have not been that great this year. It's not like LSU's defense is one of the best in the country. I mean, they've got talent, but talent does not equate to success either all the time. And LSU has underperformed on defense. I thought that we would run the ball better like we did last year on LSU. Yeah, Jalen Milroe is the biggest reason that we ran the ball well last year against LSU, but still, we ran the ball poorly in this game. And, our run defense was better today overall statistically. I mean, besides Durham's, like one big run. Other than that, we did good on run defense, but that still definitely needs to be a point of concern, point of emphasis against especially teams that are better against, on the ground. But I think that the positives from this game is that we won, and it was a double-digit win. And Ty Simpson, outside of getting rattled a bit, the fumble and all that. He was pretty good. But our run offense is a vast deficiency on our team right now. And it's not Alabama football. It's not the Alabama standard in any way because we have been such a great, rushing team for so long. And now it's our biggest weakness, which is pretty insane.
Well, and we've got, and Ty Simpson, of course, had a great night with 277 passing yards and 21 of 35 completed passes, and threw that one touchdown to Ryan Williams tonight. So that was pretty good. Tonight was the first time that we didn't score in the red zone since that loss to Florida State. And that was something I saw that was, so we're now officially, I believe, 35 of 37 in the red zone this season. I could be wrong, but I'm going to double check.
Yeah, and which in hindsight that isn't bad. That's still a pretty good ratio, but still the same. It continues to rear its head in key moments that Alabama needs to put their foot on the neck of their opponent and you know extend the lead, and they're unable to do that. And I just think that other teams see that, whether they're on Alabama's remaining schedule or gearing up to play them in the college football playoffs. Other teams see that Alabama is having a weakness in scoring in the red zone sometimes, and also just being able just to score when they need to. Because defense continues just to play complementary football and bail them out, but we're gonna have a game where defense is not able to create that same magic. We've asked a lot of Kane Warmack and his unit, and they continue to step up, but still the same. With the glaring deficiency the glaring deficiencies uh, when trying to score the ball and things of that nature, that's just gonna rear its head. I feel like that. I feel like I said, when you get against a team that has a good offense that can actually run the ball. See, Alabama, like Jeffrey said, Alabama is having probably one of the lowest years in run production. But when you get against a team that can run the ball and that can throw the ball at will and can do both at a high level, that's definitely gonna be a telltale sign because like I said, this issue is just a glaring issue, and it's just gonna be a time where Alabama has to run the ball to pick up the down to run out the clock, and right now we're showing the inability to do so. So that definitely shakes back to your point, Jackson, just about the red zone inefficiency and tonight being the first time since Florida State that they didn't score in the red zone. So, like I'm just saying, it's definitely going to be something that they'll be tested at again, and we'll have to see. Right now, they haven't passed those tests, but they continue to eke out wins. So, I won't harp on them too bad, but still the same.
There you go. And on the bright side, I was looking, and there was another stat that I saw, and this from LSU, where they are one of four teams to be very low in points per game. They're up there with Northern Illinois and Nevada. This isn't 2010 Nevada or 2012 Northern Illinois. This is pitiful versions of Nevada and Northern Illinois we're talking here. Teams that are not even bowl eligible for this season. That's a bad look for LSU, but a great look for us because we saw that Pierre was putting a ton of pressure on Nussmeier. Like, our guys put a ton of pressure on him tonight. It was enough for LSU to go, you know what? We're tired of Nussmeier for tonight. We're putting in Van Buren.
Well, I still don't understand why LSU benched Garrett Nussmeier, though. I feel like when they did that, they conceded the game. I think it was a really bad decision. I mean, you look at his stats. I understand that in the grand scheme of things, Nussmeier wasn't great, right? There was mistakes, but he was 18 of 21 for 121 yards. I mean, no picks thrown. I mean, I don't understand why they benched him. I don't know. Maybe I can't say if there was like any arguments or disagreements on the sidelines, that something was said or whatever. I don't know. I can't say. I'm not down there. on the LSU sideline, but
LSU?
obviously they the LSU sideline. Obviously they were frustrated at something because they benched him and brought in Van Buren, and they didn't get any better. I mean, he made one good throw in the game. Van Buren. It was one solid throw, but other than that, it's not like he brings like a completely different dynamic than Nussmeier did. Like maybe if he was a running quarterback, then it would have put pressure on Alabama's defense because Alabama's not the best team at run defense. But no, Van Buren was just sitting in the pocket, just the exact same as Nussmeier would have done. And when he scrambled, he was getting sacked. So, I mean, it made no sense. I mean, again, obviously great for us that they did bench Nussmeier because it completely ended their chances. I think we would have won anyway. But I think for their side, benching Nussmeier was not smart.
Oh
Yeah,
well
when
for
I saw them,
LSU, but yay for us.
yeah, and when I saw them bench Nussmeyer and go to what's his name, Van Burden. Yeah, when I saw them go to Van
Yeah,
Burden,
Michael Van Buren.
And Michael Van
yeah, when
Buren,
I
he's got a presidential last name.
yeah,
Martin Van Buren. I'm
yeah,
like,
but
oh
when
yeah,
I
that's that guy on Animaniacs. That's right.
uh-huh. But yeah, when I saw LSU kind of concede and try to get a spark with Van Buren and seeing how Kane Warmack was still able to get this Alabama defense to adjust to, like Jeffrey said, it's not a lot of difference between Van Buren and Nussmeier, but still the same. Still being able to kind of stick with your game plan and continue to send the house with rushing three and dropping back eight and making Van Beer kind of kind of having the playoff schedule and stuff. I think that still speaks volumes to Kane Warmax and how prepared he had that unit just to be able just to still force three fumbles against two quarterbacks, hold LSU's run game to 60 yards. I know they haven't had it's not been a consistent
Well,
just
yeah,
all
it oh, there you are.
just seeing that happen, that was definitely encouraging to see from that Alabama defense.
Oh yeah. Like no doubt about it. It was I was glad to see that we put a ton of pressure on Nussmeier and all those guys tonight. It was awesome. Like seeing Pierre just bringing it. Like I'm always looking forward to seeing Mr. Yahtzee Pierre. I mean, it's like he was awesome. Bringing the Yahtzee out. And Brooks did very well tonight on offense. Like that was pretty cool. And oh my god, like Bray Hubbard and when Travion gets his when he gets back on screen, we'll have Travion talk a little bit about Bray Hubbard because he was excited. He was excited about Bray Hubbard tonight, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up his post. We're gonna go ahead and because it's somewhere around here, but there's always something in the Ets archives. We're gonna find it. There we go. Come on, come on. And where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Bray Hubbard flying around the night. There you go. That's what our guy Travion was talking about tonight. Loving it. So there it is. Our guy was talking. Our guy bringing up Bray Hubbard. I mean, dude was a winner, man. I tell you what. There you go. Hold on. You back?
Sorry guys, I don't know why. Yeah, I apologize about that. It literally while I was talking, the screen just. But yeah, I'm back. Most definitely back.
Yeah, you're good. It's
Not it.
happened to me tons of times.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. No worries. You talked a little bit about Bray Hubbard tonight. He got you excited. What was your takeaways from Hubbard?
Man, Bray Hubbard, he just continues to fly around. Like I said, he continues just to amplify what this Alabama defense kind of been able just to generate over this stretch of games that they've been able to hold these opponents when Alabama's offense isn't as effective on offense. Just him continuing just to be there, literally. Like you see multiple defenders flying to the football. You see uh just him being able to cover in the back end and stuff like that, and seeing these young corners we got like Dijon Lee. He was tested on the island tonight. He was tested on the island tonight versus LSU 6'9" wide receiver Trey Dez Green, and he pretty much held his own. So just seeing Bray Hubbard's just consistent play, and I'm seeing that rub off on some of the younger DBs in the back end of that Alabama defense, and it's been a pleasure to see. Because like I said, this Alabama defense has carried this Alabama offense pretty much, I would say, for at least 3 games. Even the Missouri game, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, and even now. So a player like Bray Hubbard, he just continues just to show up, and we're gonna need that, especially going into the later part of the year with the teams coming with different different athletes and stuff like that. And it's just gonna be just more important just for Bray Hubbard to continue to play with that fire. With OU coming into town next week off a bye week, being able to kick their feet back tonight and watch Alabama and just kind of pregame for them. So Bray Hubbard, he definitely catching my eye, but I think all 11 on the Alabama defense are playing with the attitude that Hubbard is playing with.
Oh man, like all those guys that they were fun watching tonight, and you were also excited about Kane Womack and what did you think about this, Jeffrey? I personally thought that Kane Womack did a fantastic job tonight.
Fantastic job.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what
I
did
would
you?
agree with that. I mean, you look at his track record of success. He is a good defensive coordinator. I mean, he is
We
a
call him
really
the
good defensive
Womack back
coordinator.
for a reason.
Sometimes, his schemes, can get whoever he's been, the coach, at whether Indiana or at Alabama in trouble because, he heavy blitzes. Sometimes the packages you can get, beat. Again, the run defense has been a problem at times, but overall, when his defense is working, when his schematics are working, they work very well, and it depends on the opponent. LSU definitely did not pose a threat to Alabama's defense really at all in any way, and the defense was flying around the field. Womack did a great job with the schematics. I've had no issues with that at all. Bray Hubbard was great. I liked Pierre's performance as well. Pierre is fantastic. I mean, he's definitely our biggest threat when it comes to getting the quarterback on the ground. Definitely Nikai Hill Green was solid. Dijon Lee. I mean, I think our secondary is a lot better than it's been the last couple of years. It's really good. They have moments of being elite. Sometimes they get beat, but they are really good. The defense definitely was better than the offense overall today. I think that they deserve a pretty good grade. I still think that LSU's, I don't want to say ineptness because, I mean, they weren't completely inept. They had a player two every now and then, but they were pretty bad. And again, I think our defense definitely impacted their performance on offense. But still, I mean, you just don't want to take like that performance, like some Alabama fans probably would, and say, "Oh, well, our defense is now like the best in the country." And I'm like, no, it's great, and it was good, really good today. But when we play a better offense in the future, and we will, you're gonna see some of the holes still because when we've been tested, our defense can sell a little bit. It's not a bad defense. It's a really really great defense, and they were really really good today. But I still think LSU played a big reason why our defense looked so good. They were terrible. Their offense was terrible. So I definitely think our defense was great, but I still think this game in general. I was kind of shocked that we came out flat. I was not. I was just. it's not even like came out flat. The whole game was just kind of flat. It just seemed like Alabama left a lot out there. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they won. And that's an okay mindset to have. There's nothing wrong with that. But, as a coach too, you want to strive to be as great as you possibly can be. You want to do even better. And I think the good thing about this game is that since the game posed really no threat and we were basically in complete control despite struggling a lot at times, I think that this is a game that's very teachable. Like we've got a couple more interesting games the rest of the way, Oklahoma, Auburn. You take this game, you say, hey, we played all right today, but this is not our best by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. And that this is a really good game to possibly have that could maybe boost this team later on down the line if they use the mistakes that were, made in this game to be better the rest of the season. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of that same mindset, Jeffrey. Just because this Alabama defense continues just to show improvements under Kane Warmack. I call them a bend but don't break defense because obviously they have their flaws. They have their times where they're out of alignment, or they might have an assignment bust and stuff like that. But they bend but they don't break. They literally we're seeing the timely stops. We're seeing the ability to turn over the football game after game. I think this is probably like their sixth. I, they've won 8 straight games. I think they've had a turnover in each of the game they won. So those are, I look at those small things. Those are like championship characteristics to me because you got a defense that can get you timely stops. You got a defense that can be contagious and turn the football over, and you got a and just the amount of depth they have on this defense, you see they are expecting the return of Quay Rusall back, but they have a player like Yanzi Pierre who stepped up over this second half of the season and really has become Alabama's best pass rush specialist overall. And then just the multitude of different athletes we have on the back end in the secondary that continue just to man their own. Like I said, Dijon Lee continues to step up and make plays. Then you got Xavier Brown over there. Then you got Red Morgan continuing to flash around on the back end. And then you got just other guys like Damani Jackson. Obviously, he hasn't had his best season, but he continues just to be there when Alabama calls on his number and things like that. And right now, Alabama's defense, they're just playing real complimentary football and it's saving this offense. Like I said, I don't want to rag too much about the offense, but like I said, I think Kane Warmack and the entire defense, they deserve a game ball tonight
Oh
just
yeah.
with their performance because if we don't have that defensive performance, not saying they would lose, but the game would definitely be. You saw it was 11. You saw it was an 11-point game. It definitely would have been at least within a touchdown. So just seeing the defense continue just to win games and seeing that Alabama can win games in different facets. Like literally at the beginning of the season, we saw the offense was just kind of outscoring teams and kind of beating them with the pass game. But now we're seeing the defense getting these opposing offenses off the field and turning them over multiple times, and those things have attributed to win. So definitely like the direction of this defense. Obviously it can get better, but like I said, the things they've shown over these last 8 games, I would call them championship characteristics because defense wins championships, and we need turnovers. We need consistent life, and defense is bringing that life when the offense appears to be lifeless at times. So that's my take on
Oh
the
man.
defense so far.
I always get excited anytime I hear a defense wins championships because it's like two things I think about. I think about Madden 2005 with the Ray Lewis cover and
Yeah.
our Alabama Crimson Tide defense. It's just like I always get excited when I hear those three words: defense wins championships. And as you said, Trevion, Kane Womack and the defense, they get the game ball for you. I'll go with Yahtzee Pierre for me on defense. Who would you say is your defensive MVP for tonight, Jeffrey?
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good question. Probably. I mean,
There's no
you
limits.
either
No
You've
rule.
either got to go with Bray Hubbard probably or Pierre. I would probably say Pierre too. Don't want to copy your pick, but 2 sacks, set the tone. I think that you really can't get much better than that. I like the way again the secondary played too. I thought they were very solid. Just kind of shut down LSU from being able to get any success downfield. Nikhil Green, or you're looking at
Mr. Jefferson.
Dejon Lee Jr. as well. Both those guys were very solid. So, and great point. I mean, the D line, not the stats aren't there, right? Like James Smith, Tim Keenan, only with a tackle apiece. But it's about the pressures. It's about preventing them from being able to run the ball. And again, LSU's not a great run team, but still, I think that definitely, really, the entire defense was good. It was a really good defensive performance. I don't want to undersell it. When I sounded saying earlier that, hey, it's not the best defense in the country or anything. I'm not saying that to disparage them. It was a great defensive performance. It's just LSU was bad. Sometimes you just gotta, understand like the other team was not good, but our defense did play a big role in that. But I for a single player, I would go Pierre. But really, the whole D was fine. It was really good.
Oh man, it was awesome. But there were a lot of low points on offense, but on the bright side, offensive MVP for me is Ty Simpson. He got things rolling. And I before I got the show started, and a little bit before he came on, before you guys came on, I watched a little bit of that post game interview with the nice lady. I didn't have time to get her name. I'm just gonna call her the nice lady. But anyway, so Ty Simpson talked about the 24-hour rule, and I'm glad that's put in place again because that's always been the rule that Alabama has. Win or lose, we always have that. You do your celebrating for 24 hours, and then you focus on next game when the 24 hours are up. When you lose, you kind of focus on it a little bit. You focus on it, then on to the next move when it's 24 hours and 1 minute starting.
Yeah, and I think that 24-hour rule it definitely has to be implemented quickly this week. Like I said, you got a feisty OU team on the bye week right now, fighting for the college football playoff lives. They can't really lose another game, and they kind of coming in Tuscaloosa with that same mindset that Vanderbilt had a couple of weeks ago, that they can beat Alabama, particularly just off the last meeting they had last year. They came into Alabama went into Norman and dropped the egg, so they feeling like they can bring that same energy into Tuscaloosa and try to spoil Alabama's spoil kind of spoil the run that Alabama's on right now. So that 24-hour rule definitely needs to be emphasized, especially when, like I said, you're facing a dangerous team like OU. They're definitely better than LSU. They're definitely going to pose more of a threat on both sides of the football. So that 24-hour rule is definitely important. Definitely important, especially right now. So yeah.
There we go. Jeffrey, what did you think about the offense? Like, who would you say is your offensive player of the game for tonight?
Well, I mean, you look at the run game, nobody. So, I mean, you've either got to go with Ty Simpson or, one of the receivers. It's kind of hard to specifically say Ryan Williams because, he only caught 3 passes. Had a couple of, plays where he probably could have had catches. Not as egregious of drops for Ryan Williams as he's had before. But, that one over the middle of the field, that could have been called. He didn't. It was a little high by Simpson. It's kind of hard to give Ty Simpson the game, ball or, MVP of the offense because he had moments where he was rattled, which is unfortunate because I think that Ty Simpson overall had a really good game. And I don't think that Alabama was ever in a position where being rattled made sense. Alabama pretty much controlled the game. There was never a moment watching that game where I'm like, okay, we might lose. It never felt that way. More so like I wouldn't say silence. Bryant Denny never got silent, but like the kind of quieter moments of the game was just more so Alabama fans being kind of frustrated with that we weren't pulling away when we easily could and should have. So Ty Simpson early on was really good. Like you said, set the tone. But then second half, I felt like he was definitely not as good. Now, to be fair, LSU was starting to just kind of be like, hey, let's just kind of blitz here because they're not running the ball. And that kind of goes back to our lack of running the ball. If we run the ball better, it would probably help Ty Simpson a lot more. All that being said, I think that Ty Simpson has to be given MVP of the offense, but it wasn't necessarily the greatest performance for that. You know, Bernard was good, but he only had in the entire game 3 catches. It's just kind of hard to say, hey, you know, your MVP of the offense had 3 catches. Like if Bernard had, kind of like we've done this before, Jackson, where, Bernard had like 9 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown or 2. That's an MVP-like performance, but he had 3 catches. You know, the offense was very spread out in the receiving game between Brooks, Williams, Horton, Bernard. So it's just kind of hard to give it to one of those guys. It's got to be Simpson, but it definitely was not his greatest game. He wasn't bad. He played good, but I definitely didn't care to see him a little rattled. I would definitely have liked, maybe to see a little more composure there. It's not a knock against him because he wants to be the best. He wants to be, the best quarterback he can be, and that's great. But I did feel like he kind of let the game, just the way it was going, kind of affect him a little bit. When there was a couple mistakes, it looked like he was visibly rattled, which is definitely not the greatest because we're going to have tougher games the rest of the season that you definitely don't want to see that in. But I would give the MVP to Simpson.
MVP for me, that's I'm kind of the same mind of Jeffrey. It's kind of hard to pinpoint the MVP when we had such a limited night offensively. But if I had to pick one, it's either going to be between Daniel Hill or Josh Cuevas. Those are two off the wall guys that kind of stood out to me. They didn't have a lot of production, as I said, but Daniel Hill, he continues to he's making the most out of the opportunities. You see, 7 carries. That's not a lot, but his ability to step up as a blocker and just give Ty Simpson more time to find those receivers when he was able to find Jeremy Bernard, when he was able to get the ball to Horton, when he was able to get the ball to Loxley Brooks, who should also be another MVP candidate for tonight. He the young freshman just continues just to step up and make key plays. Continues to make the most out of his opportunities. I saw that through on the screen tonight. He made like 5 dudes miss. But like I said, it's kind of hard to pinpoint an MVP. But if I had to go with one, like I said, it'd probably be Daniel Hill. Just like I said, just his ability just to step up as an extra blocker and continue just to get pick up yards when he can. It's kind of hard to pick up yards with the way this Alabama offensive run game is going right now, but he continues just to be there, and then also just the ability just to catch the ball out of the backfield and pick up first downs. I think he picked up probably like 2 first downs catching the ball out the backfield tonight, so that was good to see. But my MVP, like I said, Daniel Hill. That's who I'm gonna go with.
Well, and Godfather, the SEC also said Daniel Hill is the best bat we have, in my opinion, but best bat for tonight. I mean, like Jam Miller's still our best bat, but there is one thing you'll definitely learn when hanging with us, Trevion, is when everybody's thinking, when 3 of us are thinking the same thing unanimously, that means one thing. Great minds think alike. And you are one of the great minds, my friend.
Yeah. I'm also trying to see. Were you able to see some of the post game stuff about what the board was saying? That's also could be topics of discussion. With the post game interviews and some of the player takeaways and stuff like that.
Ooh. They haven't been showing that yet. We're still just kind of waiting it out for that, I guess. But they do that sometimes. They always do the mess around with us about that. But that's why we'll wait it out for Monday to discuss the final takeaways before our Oklahoma guys and girl join us on Monday night on Alabama with the Boys College Football.